Welcome to today's episode of the Rose in the Ceilings podcast. Today we have a guest with us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Chiara and I am the founder of The Passionate Post.
Could you just tell us a little bit about The Passionate Post? Like, what is it?
So, The Passionate Post is an online literary magazine that I founded and started myself. It's an online magazine where most people submit poems or essays and stuff like that, just to give them an outlet and a creative outlet to write and stuff like that.
That's so
awesome.
cool. How long
How
ago did
long
you
have you
start
been
this?
running the Passionate Post for?
Since August of 2024, so very recently.
What inspired you to start a literary magazine?
So I had been writing poetry for a while now. I submitted to a few magazines myself, and I had seen how easy it was, or not necessarily how easy it was. I just saw that it was something that I could do myself. I've always really used Canva, and the marketing aspect really interested me because I always thought that I was good at that. And seeing that other people my age did it kind of encouraged me to try it out for myself, and it obviously succeeded somewhat because here I am talking to you guys and stuff like that. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I'm wondering what kind of topics you cover on the Passionate Post. What were some of your favorite?
So our first issue came out recently, and the theme was escapism, which I came up with myself. I was super proud of that because I was looking at other people's, I guess, other magazines' themes, and I was trying to see like what the vibes, for lack of a better word, were. So I thought escapism, since it's such a broad topic that so many people could find different, I guess, creative outlets in that and find just how to represent themselves within that theme. And then the second issue's theme, so the one that we have currently open right now, is reminiscence. So just, I think finding vast topics really make it easier for the people who are submitting, and also makes it more interesting to read. So I don't know if that answers the question, but
I think it definitely does. Something that intrigued me when I was looking through the magazine, your bio has carpe diem in it, like the seize the moment. What about that inspired you enough for it to go in like the bio of your account?
I love this question because, oh my goodness, The Dead Poet Society, it's a movie. I don't know if you guys know. It's my favorite movie of, I want to say, all time. And that is a common saying that's kind of echoed throughout the entire movie. It's always like, seize the day. And that whole movie was a really big, I guess, inspiration, especially for the first issue, just because the whole idea of starting an online magazine is kind of just, it was very spur of the moment for me. Like, I was like, why shouldn't I do this? I might as well just do it, seize the day, I guess. So that's definitely one of the main reasons why I decided to put it in my bio.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really awesome motivational piece. Like every time
Mhm.
you look in your bio, you're like,
Thank
yes,
you.
I'm seizing the day.
Yes,
Go
exactly.
girl. And I'm wondering if there's any, I guess, moments so far when you were doing your magazine that you felt like, oh, this is challenging and how you might have overcame that.
Some challenges I found were trying to get like the engagement. So when you are, I guess, making the magazine, you obviously need submissions and stuff for it to even be a magazine. So I have been trying to get people to submit, so trying to find like ways to encourage people to do that and make it the least complicated possible, because otherwise people won't be motivated to submit, or they just won't be interested. So I guess just trying to find the right people, sorry, to just submit. It's been the most challenging part, I would say.
Mhm. What have you found works? Like, what have you found does motivate people to submit and kind of show off their work?
I think definitely making like the Instagram posts how to explain this. So I do a lot of, I guess, movie and TV show posts. So anything related to media that's already been, I guess, shown and like people know about it because then they find a way to relate. So for example, for my first issue, I did TV characters, I think that feel like escapism, and I did like a few parts to that. If people see that and they see like a favorite character that they like from their TV show, they will then be like, oh, I can find a way to relate this back to me and my experiences, and that would get them to submit. So, and also to definitely message people privately, like sending messages to authors and artists that have like a smaller community could definitely help your community grow as well as theirs. And yeah, just those two things I definitely find help the most and people appreciate the most.
For sure. Do you think you'd have any tips for how to reach out to people like that?
So this is gonna sound a bit, I guess, stalkery, but if you go into people's like following and followers list, a lot of times they follow mutuals. So if you go into their following, you're gonna find a bunch of, like, I guess, writers and authors, and that's definitely what I was doing. I can tell you right now that I've DM'd over, I want to say, 100 authors just so they could come and submit, and I could maximize, I guess, this entire like issue and the amount of people that can submit, and I would definitely say that it's working, and a lot of them are very appreciative because they follow so many magazines. So just to get like your like for them to remember your magazine is definitely an important part, I would say.
No, I think that's lovely that you're taking that initiative to reach out and find people who
Hmm.
would really benefit from this. That's great. I'm wondering, looking forward in the development of your magazine, like, what are you hoping to do? What are you excited for?
Hmm. I don't know. I try to take it day by day and just doing what I can in the day that I have. I don't want to make it something that stresses me out. So if I start thinking too much about the future, I will shut down fully. So that's definitely not what I want to do. But I keep wanting to do, I guess, more issues. I see a lot of people who do blogs, which doesn't necessarily interest me because I'd much rather have like a magazine that I can just look through. Not to, of course, diss the people who do that. That's just not my personal preference. So I definitely just want to keep improving, I guess, my skills and making, I guess, the magazines, like the issues, sorry, and also just to take it day by day and do the best that I can in the day that I have. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but
No, that's great. That's awesome.
I think a lot of people do kind of do that thing where they think too far ahead and they freak themselves out. So I think the day-to-day advice is something pretty important that I don't think we've heard before when we ask for advice. So I'm gonna ask you again, like what other pieces of advice do you have for people who wanna maybe start on a project that could kind of seem intimidating?
guys, you're making me feel so smart. I don't know. Um, Different pieces of advice. Hmm. Do I don't even know if I have anything else.
I'm sure you have
Um,
something else.
I'm gonna think. I'm gonna think. Taking it day by day. Don't stress yourself out for no reason. I'm a person who stresses herself out for a lot of things that are usually out of my control. I guess this is not as related to the magazine, but it's like don't stress yourself out about things you can't control. If you don't get the amount of submissions you want for that said issue, it's not a big deal. There was a reason in that moment why it didn't happen for you, and I truly believe this, it will work out for you in the future, if not now. If it's something that you really want, just wait, it will work out for you, is usually what I would like to tell myself. I actually don't know if
I
that made
love
any
that.
sense. I'm gonna keep
That's so
verifying.
sweet.
I
No, it
just
did. It
thank you.
totally did.
I do love that. Have you heard of people saying like the burnt toast theory, where like if you burn your toast is the reason you burnt your toast. Um and it'll be
I've
fine in the
never
end. I
Oh,
don't
I've
know how
never
it
heard
goes.
that, but that makes total
Really?
sense.
Yeah, because
Like,
that's kind of like
yeah.
what I was thinking, like,
Oh my
that's what you're saying.
goodness.
So it does make
Yeah.
sense, don't worry. It made sense to us and probably our listeners, at
Mhm.
least. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Maybe do you have anything else you want to say to like people who maybe want to get into like art, like literature and writing, but are kind of scared to take that first step?
I feel like you just need to do it, and it's easier said than done, but don't over this is going to sound like very hypocritical coming from me, but do not overthink it. If you want to do something and you want to start it, just go ahead. The worst thing that can happen is that like no one follows you or no one submits. Like it's not the end of the world. You just have, if you're really really dedicated to doing something, you will succeed. It's a matter of, I think, your willpower. So I would say just do it. That sounds like Nike, actually. Just do it. But yeah,
Hey.
I did not come up with that, guys. But just do it.
Not sponsored, but we
Sponsored.
like the quote.
No.
I guess to end us off today, some great advice. If you want to shout out your social media, where can our listeners submit or read?
So you can follow us at The Passionate Post on Instagram. We have our submissions open till November 25th. The theme is reminiscence. There are a ton of Instagram posts that you can find with inspirations like prompts, movies, quotes. There's so much out there, and we are accepting of pretty much anything. You can check, we have our guidelines in our bio, in our description, and feel free to contact us via DM or email or anything like that. And thank you to you guys. This is just great.
Thank you so
Thank you
much for
so
coming on.
much.
Thank you. That was so nice.